Autism is no longer rare. Today, 1 out of every 36 children is diagnosed, and that prevalence keeps rising. But what's even more alarming is how misunderstood this diagnosis has become. Online, you'll hear a lot about neurodiversity and being proudly autistic. And listen, we believe in respecting and supporting every single child. But for families navigating the daily realities of level 2 and especially level 3 autism, the truth is this isn't just a different way of thinking or unique personality traits. These children are struggling with their health in a multitude of ways, and their families are living in constant crisis. We're talking about children who can't speak, who can't sleep, who self injure, scream for hours, and live trapped inside a nervous system stuck in total overload. And parents who are running on empty trying to hold it all together. And yet, the medical world still says the root cause is genetic, while the functional medicine world blames the gut. But what if there's something even deeper? A foundational neurological issue that actually explains why so many of these kids can't connect, can't regulate, and can't develop the way they're meant to. In this video, we're going to break down the 3 levels of autism, what they really mean for your child's future, and why the fight for understanding the true root cause of autism has never been more important. But before we jump into that, I want to tell you a story about our friend Luke. His mom, Jackie, was always asking herself if her son would ever heal or be the same again. Her beautiful son, Luke, started regressing at about 13 months. He had completely stopped talking. He stopped making eye contact, was often inconsolable, had a hard time sleeping, had many sensory challenges, and wasn't connecting well to others. It was an extremely difficult time for Luke and his family. But being the powerhouse family that they are, they went all in on getting Luke the help he would need to continue progressing again and heal his fullest potential. And mom said what had the biggest impact in their life was having neurologically focused chiropractic on their side. Mom said that Luke was in EI and getting therapies there right alongside chiropractic. But chiropractic has been our #1 tool the whole time. It helped Luke progressively calm and retrain his nervous system so that his body could start connecting and healing on a deeper level. She said, I knew it was working when we started to be able to get back some of the parts of our life that were taken away when he'd slipped away from us. Eye contact being able to calm down and regulate. But most especially when he started talking again. She vividly remembers Luke saying his first words again in the office right after an adjustment, and everyone was blown away with excitement. And very soon after, he was able to speak again. And as his journey continued, Luke kept making positive steps forward. And now at 10 years old, mom says Luke is healed to a degree that I wasn't sure we would ever get to. I hoped we would. I prayed we would. And I put in the work to make sure he would. You just never know. Now he's a healthy, happy, calm 10-year-old who lights up every room he's in and will talk your ear off all day. Now that's Luke's story, but let's jump into this video fully by first understanding what the 3 levels of autism really mean. The diagnostic manual, the DSM-5, categorizes autism into 3 levels based on support needs. Level 1 requires support for social communication and inflexible behaviors. Level 2 requires substantial support with more pronounced communication delays and repetitive behaviors. And level 3 requires very substantial support with severe communication impairments and extremely limited social interaction. While these levels help determine educational and therapeutic support needs, they don't address the underlying neurological dysfunction that creates these traits in the first place. We're dealing with the fire, but what are we looking to what's keeping the fire going? And what most families are never told is that these levels can change over time when the root neurological causes are properly addressed. And they can absolutely change when we see it happen all the time in our office with our work when the foundational root causes are addressed head on. And this is the real root cause behind autism that most doctors miss. It's not always genetics. It's above genetics. It's multifaceted. It includes exposure to stress and toxicity during critical developmental periods, which then trigger the neurological dysfunction that manifests as autism traits. At our office, we understand autism through the perfect storm concept. This is a sequential exposure to stressors, which include high fertility challenges, high amounts of maternal stress during pregnancy, birth trauma from interventions like induction, forceps, vacuum, or C section, can be low birth weight, prematurity, and excessive exposure to toxins, antibiotics, medications, vaccinations, and other chemicals early and often in life. It's one thing after the next. It's stress on top of stress on top of stress that create nervous system imbalance and dysregulation. We call it subluxation and dysautonomia. It's where the sympathetic fight or flight response becomes stuck. And that's the problem. It's stuck on hyperdrive. And one of the reasons it's stuck is because the parasympathetic vagus nerve, rest, digest, and regulate system is suppressed and almost shut down altogether. This then triggers a cascade of effects within the body and brain of a child with autism, disrupting digestion and gut health, triggering immune system challenges and neuroinflammation, and causing severe challenges with motor tone, coordination, and development, often leading to not just developmental delays, but also things like stimming, tics, toe walking, and more. And here's how levels 2 and 3 of autism differ significantly from level 1. Simply put, the severity of neurological dysfunction and dysregulation is much higher in children struggling with level 2 and level 3 autism than it is for level 1. And these dysfunctions and root cause triggers are driven much deeper within the body and brain. That's not to say level 1 children don't still struggle with sleep, digestive issues, motor incoordination, sensory challenges, and some social anxieties. It's just that the level and severity of their challenges are easier to adapt to and work through with other therapies and supportive interventions. The earlier a child was exposed to these stressors, the perfect storm, and the more severe they were, the stronger their correlation to their level of autism severity later in life, which explains why some children require minimal support while others need very substantial assistance. Simply put, every child has a unique life story. They've gone through a unique life experience, and those experiences can shape how they continue to grow, to develop, to function, and express as life goes on. Now, how neurologically focused chiropractic care addresses the root cause at a much different and deeper level is by using what we call the insight scanning technology. The most exciting thing for parents and other professionals with our neurologically focused work is that we don't just need to rely on symptoms and surveys to sort out the severity or levels of a child's challenges. We can actually measure the depth and severity of their nervous system dysfunction and subluxation directly using our neurological insight scanning technology. Through the use of neurothermal, which looks for neuroinflammation and dysfunction, EMG scans that measure disrupted neuromotor tone and coordination, and heart rate variability testing that measures overall nervous system dysregulation and dysautonomia, we will know the depth and severity of neurological dysfunction your child is struggling with. Now, knowing is one thing, but what's best of all is when we can then use these scans to create a fully customized and personalized care plan and adjusting protocol for your child's unique and specific needs. It's not about a cookie cutter approach to caring for your child with autism. That's way too common in today's world, and not only in traditional medicine, but often even in functional or biomedical settings nowadays. Our doctors are trained to use what we term neurometrics to find the severity of sympathetic dominance, subluxation, vagus nerve damage, and so much more with these insight scans. Now, I want you to take a look at this example and walk through what it looks like, what we commonly find with level 2 and level 3 autism using these scans. Now, what we're looking at first is this neurothermal scan. This is what's measuring temperature on a child's neurospinal system. This is really measuring temperature balance from side to side. What you can see visually, when you see more color, it shows us more areas of imbalance, more areas of neuroinflammation. It's going to affect the GI system. It's going to disrupt digestion. It's going to affect the endocrine system, the immune system. When there's so much going on here, and these scans are from a child who was struggling with level 3 autism. He had really severe disrupted digestion. His ability to show up in life was diminished because his nervous system, as we could see, was struggling on the inside. This area specifically within his system, around this region here, the wires, the neurology that extends from this area of the spinal cord goes to the adrenal glands, produces stress chemicals. This area of the body also regulates portions of digestion, of detox pathways through the liver, through the kidneys. And if his system is experiencing this imbalance on the inside, he's perceiving that. And it's going to keep his system stuck in this sympathetic state. This is the dysregulation. This is the dysautonomia. This is the subluxation that we find within children with this level of neurological dysfunction, because it doesn't just show up from this expressive state. How it's showing up from a temperature state, we can also see it from a neurocoordination state. We can see it from a neuromotor state. This is an energy scan. This is EMG. This is essentially how much energy the nervous system is coordinating to the muscle system, the neuromuscular system. We want to see that there is balance, that there is ease. But with this system here, we're seeing a lot of incoordination, but not only incoordination, we're seeing a lot more energy on the system. Ideally, all of these numbers here, when it comes to energy, when it comes to pattern, when it comes to balance, we want to see those numbers at 100. But when we see 3.5 times the amount of energy on his system here, and when we see lower levels of organization overall, it's showing us a representation of what he's experiencing on the inside. Really, what is his body communicating to his brain? Is it communicating balance? Is it communicating ease? Or is it communicating disruption? Is it communicating confusion? Is it harder for him to perceive what's going on, making it harder then for him to perceive or to respond to what's going on? From a big picture understanding, if it's, let's say, quote unquote, garbage in, we're going to get a garbage response. If our system is so dysregulated from the inside, if it's communicating stress, 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 it's going to respond in stress mode continually, and the cycle continues. Now, what's really cool with this patient here specifically, when we look at it from this bird's eye view, where the nervous system is at with heart rate variability, it's in actually a pretty good place in terms of balance and overall resilience. And this is a testament to the things that him and his family were doing, the other therapies and modalities that help his nervous system to adapt even in the midst of all of this dysfunction. But all that to say, if this dysfunction continues, it's going to continue to manifest the challenges that show up in his life. And it's going to continue as he grows and develops, continue to influence the system in an overall resilience way. Because when the body is so overwhelmed, you can think of it as a bucket. His ability to handle stress, if his body is already filling up so much of that bucket, his ability to handle other things, new transitions, puberty, um, learning how to think logically, to reason, to socially and emotionally engage with the world, some things are going to be more resistant to others. And again, depending on the level and severity that a child is expressing with nervous system dysfunction, they may or may not go into that next step of development, into that next skill, because they're still struggling from a digestive end, an endocrine end, a immune system end. If they're still working on the basics, their system is less likely to then follow that progression of development that leads to those higher cognitive functions. So all of this to say is we can get a better understanding as to what a child is experiencing, not just from a survey, not just from a chart, but really seeing specifically what is happening in that child's video. And so to wrap up this video, lastly, I want to say, and really it's like the best thing, is that we can truly track nervous system healing over time as the care plan progresses. It's not just one scan at the beginning of a care plan. We continue to track a child's progress as they make their way out of this storm. Using the scans allows us to know for sure that our care is actually helping them, that it's not just addressing symptoms or surface level problems, but it's actually getting to deeper layers of real healing. If you're interested, click the link in our bio to learn more about the levels of autism and how neurologically focused chiropractic care may help your child and entire family experience a much more improved quality of life. We would love to serve you. If we can be of help, please reach out. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.